Warren Buffett has a brand new message for all new investors. That message was delivered on the 1st of May 2021. That, for me, it was yesterday. I was able to listen to all his conference call, and it was very informative. You should also, if you understand, he delivers messages in very encrypted ways because you have to know about financial terms. You have to know how to read between the lines. This man delivers exceptional messages, and one of his messages was directed to new investors. But that message, honestly, for myself, who's someone who's been invested in the market for several years, was also very, very informative. So I would like to thank him for that message, and I'm going to share that message with you guys so you guys can understand better how to properly manage your money in the stock market. So his first message was saying that the US economy is something that performs really well over time. And he demonstrated that by showing the top 20 companies of the world. In the top 6, 5 of them were US companies, and you can see the whole list. It is very incredible to me and to everyone. And also he showed that, and he said that if in 30 years do you expect the same companies to be on top? And it was a very fundamental question to understand and to predict. Honestly, I don't have the answer. I don't believe that these companies will still be on the top in 30 years. Because why I'm saying that is because Warren Buffett showed the top 20 companies 30 years ago, and most of them were Japanese, as you can see on your screen. That message was very, very exceptional to me because I was able to understand that his message preaching of saying that the US economy is somewhere you should invest is actually correct, because US markets and equities rose to the top of the world, which they weren't 30 years ago. I always thought that the US companies and US economy has always been on top ever since 1900, but actually it wasn't the case. The US economy just built itself very recently to the top. And now we have China coming in. That is very interesting, and you should keep that in mind. Maybe China might take over USA. It's not something I hope because I don't invest in Chinese equities. I mostly invest in US equities. Now, his main message to new investors was something very exceptional. You should understand that. Nowadays, SPACs and IPOs are considered the place to be. But that wasn't what Warren Buffett was trying to say. He was trying to say to all the new investors that this isn't actually the place you should be. You should look into a company more in depth. So he gave a really concrete example, very understandable and very relatable, because we have almost the same thing happening today. So in 1903, Ford invented a method of transportation which had 4 wheels. We know what it is. It is the car. And now we see around 290 million cars on the American roads, which is honestly exceptional. And if you would have predicted that 100 years ago, honestly, you weren't alive there, but if someone had predicted that, he would have made a fortune. But that isn't the case with long-term holding. What happened is 2,000 companies entered the automotive industry. You need to understand that is very core to what he was trying to say. 2,000 companies. He also mentioned a company named Marmon, which honestly, it was someone he personally knew, and it was a company he maybe tried to invest in, but that is not the point here. He was saying that 2,000 companies entered the automotive industry, and only in 2009 only 3 were left, and then 2 of them went bankrupt very recently, I think because of the COVID-19 pandemic, whatever, and they went bankrupt. So you need to understand that when you invest in a company, you can't only look it as being as a new company entering an innovative space with a lot of growth. You have to look so many other factors, such as maybe their management, their balance sheet, their cash flow. There's many more things to looking at a company than just seeing that it is innovating in a brand new space. And that was the message Warren Buffett was trying to get across to brand new investors. And honestly, it was a very subtle way to saying to all of these new investors that are investing in EV markets. We saw Tesla, Luminar, NIO, all these companies go to exceptionally high valuation, and that didn't make sense to me or to anyone. And now we saw this valuation come down more and more, but that doesn't mean that they were good investment. If you would have traded them, you would have probably made money, and that is something you should be considered, creating hype. And I've always preached that you should always trade hype rather than invest in it. We saw some people saying that GME will go to $1,000. It never did. It went to 480 USD and came back. And now right now it's going around 200, 180. So you need to understand that if you are thinking about long-term investment, you should very much analyze the 10K and everything that a company has to present before investing money into it, especially if it's a substantial amount of money. And he was also addressing the crypto market in a very, very subtle way. That's why I say Warren Buffett is a genius who addresses so many problems with such a simple way, but that simple thing is very hard to put in action. So when he was talking about crypto market, right now crypto markets are very hot. The only fundamentals behind this crypto market is the blockchain technology, the decentralized everything, yada yada. This is something you should keep in mind when you see a coin, Bitcoin, valued at $1 trillion. You should think, is that technology worth $1 billion for you? You might not be putting $1 trillion, sorry. You might not be putting $1 trillion in it, but investing in that, for example, 25, 35,000, which might be 20, 30, 50, 100% of your net worth, you need to realize that this is something you need to put more research. We saw some people putting in insane amounts of money in Dogecoin without even knowing the principle, without even knowing that this coin is inflationary. And I was really, really moved by Warren Buffett's statement. That's why I'm sharing his message, and I hope you guys understand that too, because it is very, very mind-changing. That man, 90 years old man, has seen so much stuff that we have never seen, and we hope we know half of what he knows, but we don't. This man has been profitable for so long that it's just exceptional. We've seen so many people lack, and I have a photo in which I'm going to show you right now, where you see Cathie Wood's performance this year and you see Warren Buffett's performance this year. You can see that long term, these smart, intelligent men win. I'm not saying that she's a woman, that's why she's losing. That has nothing to do with that. But you can understand what I'm trying to say. He has long-term vision, even though he may be sold out of the airline industry. And he gave a direct message why he sold out of the airline industry. It was something very eyebrow-raising too. It was something that was like, oh wow, he actually did that for that reason. I was really moved by that. If you want to know why, tell me, write down in the comment. I will explain it to you in depth why Warren Buffett cashed out of the airline industry. Something that was considered a bad move. He was able to explain it very, very well. So if you enjoyed this video and my rant, I guess it wasn't a rant, it was more of a conversation with you guys. I want you guys to have the best investing journey possible. That's what the BNB stands for. We give the bullish, bearish sides of everything. So that was my message today. It wasn't my message, it was the Warren Buffett's message, and I'm trying to share as much as possible. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you had enjoyed this video, I'm not going to tell you to subscribe. You don't need to subscribe, but just remember, if you subscribe, you'll have a profitable journey. Thank you very much, man.